I'm fine, thank you, Representative Guerra, and thank you for allowing me to testify today on this important subject matter. And good morning to the rest of the committee. Thank you for being here. I know it's a lot of people are running in different places, so I will be brief. You know, we've all heard the complaints from our constituents about the long lines and hours at DMV and how the office, it doesn't vary too much from the offices within the state, that there's been some difficulty. And the computer upgrade last summer, which was supposed to make it more efficient and speedy, unfortunately didn't reach its goal. And if the long lines and long waits were not bad enough, some of the computer upgraded results had many drivers falsely accused of not having insurance or lapsing registration, and that there was just terrible difficulties. I will say that the previous commissioner, Ayala, and the current interim commissioner, Murphy, have worked very, very well with our offices, expediting our constituents' issues, and for that I thank them very, very much. The liaisons have been wonderful to work with. It's unfortunate, though, that most of the people that these negative aspects affect aren't really able to get any resolution. So with that, I think it's time that we make some structural changes in DMV and we expand the public-private partnership that we currently have. If the way we've always done it hasn't worked, then I think we should possibly change this and change our course. The bill before you requires DMV to privatize the services that are not already privatized. Interestingly, though, DMV already has this capability and has done it in some aspects already. The DMV provides 131 services, but only a few of those services need to be done by the department. Acting Commissioner Dennis Murphy agreed in a public hearing that privatizing some services, such as commercial driver's license and title services, could reduce the wait times that the department has, and it could expand the reliance on contracts with independent contractors and delegates some of these simple transactions by providing motorists options and more convenience. So Connecticut is not the first to privatize DMV services. In fact, there are 18 other states that currently outsource driver's licenses. And as we experienced ourselves, we have our AAA offices who do a fine job with that within Connecticut. Missouri contracts almost all of its DMV services to private entities. So while the private sector in many ways does a much better job at customer service, they have a competitive reason to cut costs and to improve efficiency so they can stay in business and to ensure that customer satisfaction. The current government's monopoly on DMVs provides no effective incentive for ensuring that customer satisfaction. And it's not as if a customer can go elsewhere except for if you're renewing your driver's license. Where they can and what they can do is evidenced by the increasing number of people that go to AAA. And just to summarize, please remember that we have, in fact, privatized our emission services in the past and our driver's license testing. It's not just the driver's license renewal that we do. So maybe in the future we could look at things like vehicular registration at car dealerships, or there are other opportunities for us to really privatize DMV and make it more efficient and better for our constituents. So I thank you for allowing me to testify.
Thank you for being here this morning. I just have maybe a couple questions. So you feel that if we privatize motor vehicle, or let's say we have AAA take care of some of those responsibilities like the license and stuff like that, would help with the long lines?
I do feel that in the wait times, whenever I have the opportunity, I go to AAA to take care of business. I don't go to DMV. And I've had the experience of going to DMV recently because I have a 16-year-old. So not only when she became eligible to get her learner's permit, I went online to schedule her appointment. It was a 90-day wait from when I did that because the new computer system had gone in. And I didn't call the commissioner then and say, I want my child to move up in the line or anything, because I really wanted to experience what everybody was experiencing. So it was very interesting. And I will tell you that the staff at DMV was as quick as they could be, but there were just so many people, it was overwhelming. So I think by privatizing through AAA or other sources, like we did emissions or like we do driver's testing, I think we might be able to take some of the responsibility from DMV and put it to a private sector to expedite.
Thank you. Any questions? Representative Hoydick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you very much, Representative Hoydick, for coming in and testifying. I think you've got some good ideas that a number of us agree with. And the Commissioner has committed to looking into privatizing more, giving more authority to AAA and those third parties to do more. And so I'm looking forward to working with you and the Commissioner in effectuating that. So thank you very much for your testimony here today.
Thank you, Representative.
Senator Hoydick.
Thank you very much, and good morning, Representative. It's great to have you be here, and thank you all for taking such a bold step as to bringing this idea forward, because it is a kind of revolutionary in the sense that right now we know that in statute, in fact, I think in Section 14-3, there is the capability right now of the DMV to actually privatize anything that it wants. But it's been slow, I guess, in reacting to that. I think they've had such great success with it. With a auto company that has been doing now renewal of driver's license that the public is wildly in favor of, has really had a great experience, that there's a sense that maybe they should be moving more towards that direction. And by bringing this forward in this manner, there's attention being called to that. As well. And even the DMV and the governor have proposed through one of the bills that you're probably familiar with, reducing wait times. Mm-hmm. They've suggested and actually outlined a couple of other things that they wanted to promote. So, so in your view, it should not be limited to those few, that it should be opened to everything. But it's not whether they may, you're concerned that they aren't doing that, and that's why your bill suggested they must privatize everything, correct?
The bill suggests that they must privatize. It's not necessarily everything, but they must privatize more than they are currently. And I think that we need to look at total privatization or partial privatization. And to your point, Senator, thank you, in the statute that's already referenced, in my testimony, the department has the ability, the commissioner has the ability to privatize. And there are different things, and as we have heard before, something that is not so novel, because when you go to purchase a new car, do you go to DMV to register the car? No. Wherever you're purchasing the car from, like a dealership, for example, or if you're purchasing a used car, they often do that transaction for you. There's an expedited line for those dealerships to get these registrations done a little quicker. And so one of the ideas is, why not set them up as AAA is, as an external terminal opportunity, and then they can register the vehicles that way.
That's a very good point. Are there any security or oversight issues that you think might present themselves if it was so dispersed throughout the state?
Well, I think with any secured system, not only is the technology secured, and right now I believe we host the technology, our data ourselves. I do not think it's in the cloud. I do not think it's a separate third party, so that might be something to look at. But even when I got my license renewed at AAA, and I was getting the license that I could use as verification when I was traveling through the airport, and I forgot the acronym at this moment, but I had to bring a variety of identification, and they kept copies of it, which made me very, very nervous. So I said to the woman at the counter at AAA, where are those copies going and how are you securing them? And she said, they go into a safe, temporarily until they're scanned into the system and then they're destroyed. So that gave me a level of confidence that they had these security measures set up. And Senator Boucher, one thing I wanted to mention from our subcommittee meeting this morning about transportation bonding, DOT is doing a phenomenal job utilizing technology for not only transparency but efficiency. And I think that we should take some of those models that DOT has already experienced and transfer them to DMV, so you can see live what wait times there are, or what opportunities there are to go to another location to possibly do your business and not have to wait 5 hours. So those are the things that I think we really, really need to look at, that efficiency model for the state of Connecticut.